I'm gonna give her props for this one because she started, as I said, the answer to the question right in the beginning, just like I like it. She had arguments and ways to justify what she just told us in the beginning, and she sounded so empowered. Hello everyone, welcome once again to my channel. It's your boy Luis Portelles, and for today's video we have a very special one because we are gonna be reviewing the final segment. So I feel this is like the second part of the head-to-head challenge of Miss World Philippines 2022. The reason why I'm only focusing on the second part of the challenge is because this is when you get to see the candidates who actually made it to the second round of the head-to-head challenge. The entire thing was over 4 hours, so I thought it was just way too long for me to really be able to come up with a review that will be objective, that will be interesting, and that will keep the audience attention for that long. So I didn't want to make like a whole reaction to the entire thing, but I think that maybe just giving some of my feedback and thoughts about the candidates who actually made it into the second part of the challenge. As usual, we'll go over the video together, we'll watch it together, and I'll give you some of my comments and feedback. And this is an open conversation, so you feel free to leave your own take on it in the comment section down below. While you're at it, don't forget to leave a like on this video so that it gets recommended to more people. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because I post almost every single day. So without further ado, my friends, I will not keep you waiting for much longer. I will see you with the reaction video right after the intro.
Be strong.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're live here at Savoy Hotel Manila for the round 2 of our head-to-head challenge at Miss World Philippines 2022.
Let's go.
Do make sure to catch us on our Facebook page, that is Miss World Philippines Organization, and on our Kumu account at Miss World Philippines. So guys, are you ready for the final stretch, final round for round 2?
The real question is, are you ready yet?
Right.
I was just gonna say, am I ready?
She's the one who needs to be ready though.
You are the first candidate to be answering the one common question that will be shared by all 13 finalists for this afternoon.
Right.
Now, let's not make our viewers wait any longer and proceed to the question.
Alright, so I have a quick comment. So they have established that it will be the same question for every single candidate up until now. But I'm a little curious because if it's the same answer, I know that all of the girls are in the same room. So those who are just witnessing the event can also prepare simultaneously to provide their own answer whenever they are called on stage. So that's the first thing. The second thing is something that I really don't understand as much with Miss World Philippines, and it's the fact that they focus a lot of their content on Facebook only. And I know that that's where they have the biggest audience. They have over 200k followers on Facebook, but I think they should also be live streaming this event on YouTube. There's huge opportunities on YouTube as well. I think that they should post a little bit more on Instagram as well, and even TikTok. I mean, TikTok is really booming nowadays. So I think that they're missing on certain opportunities. If I was in charge of social media at Miss World Philippines, I will definitely strive to put the content out there, not just for views or followers or anything like that, but just to make sure that it reaches more people. Not everyone is on Facebook anymore. Actually, I feel like the younger generation doesn't use Facebook that much. So they are missing out on a few opportunities. I hope that they reconsider that.
Our final question is, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces the pandemic? Again, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that is still
Good question, and you can answer it in many different
I
ways.
think we can all agree that the pandemic has changed our way of life. It has changed our lifestyles, the way we do things every day. And of course, it has also changed our perspective and how we see the world. And so with that question, I would answer, an exceptionally empowered woman should possess the quality of someone who is confident in herself, somebody who embraces herself wholeheartedly. Because I think that's also one of the problems that our generation is facing today. And I want to tell them that we should start focusing on the things that we are instead of focusing on the things that we are not. Because if there is one thing that is constant in this world, that is ourselves, who we are. No matter if the world changes tomorrow, you know, we still have ourselves. And I think that we should always draw strength from who we are. And trust me when I say that there is nothing more important to be in this world than yourself. Thank you.
All right. Okay, I have A quick comment for her. But first of all, I will say that I love how she answered the question. You know, she's talking about confidence. And of course, I think that that is very, very essential. Now, one thing that I will say is that she's very eloquent, well-spoken, her communication skills really, really on point, but I'm not crazy about the structure of that answer. I don't know if I timed it precisely. It took at least 30 seconds for her to actually answer the question. Tell me that one quality, that one thing that was expected from the answer. So it took a little bit too long. And then after that, after she answered the question, it just became a little bit redundant. I personally prefer when the candidates really just answer the question from the beginning, and then after that they elaborate and they end with kind of a reminder of what the answer was, or perhaps like a statement. This is something that I've heard over and over from perhaps like the likes of Tito Boyabunda, and I think that is really the most effective formula, not only to make sure that you're giving a clear answer, but also just to make sure that the audience understands what you're saying and that they're being impacted by your answer.
For our viewers to know, the rest of our candidates are actually placed in a different room, just so they could not hear the one common question.
Oh, thank you for clarifying, because I was a little worried about that.
It. And there we have our candidate number 13 from Cebu, Maria Gigante.
Maria
Hi,
Gigante.
Maria. You may get your mic up.
Looking beautiful, Maria.
All right. Hi. All right.
Hello.
Are you ready for your final question for today?
Yes, I'll ever be, I suppose.
Okay, so Maria, your question is, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic? Again, what is one most important
Give me
value
something good,
that
Maria.
an
You've been
exceptionally
excelling
empowered
so far.
Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic?
Think about it. Come
The
on.
exceptionally empowered Filipina has discipline. Through the pandemic, I have struggled to cope with my mental health. I have struggled to maintain financial security, being that I work in the entertainment industry. And most of all, I have struggled to set an example to my 6 siblings, who are all younger than me. But that discipline has provided a framework for the chaos that the world provides to take shape and to create beauty. Through the pandemic, I've been able to become on the way to becoming a certified international yoga teacher.
Wow.
This has given me and saved me from so many things that happen internally and externally in my life. And I believe that without that framework of discipline, all else will just be chaos. But then you have to have the courage to accept that along the way you will make mistakes, that along the way there will be pitfalls. But what makes you beautiful is the flaws that you have in spite of it all. I am strong, and that is what makes me beautiful and an exceptionally empowered Filipina.
Thank you so
Yay.
much.
All right, let's talk about Maria. She has never let me down so far within this entire competition, always on top of her game. And you know, I think that her answer, it really kind of supports what I was telling you earlier about the previous candidate. When I said that I want her to really start by just answering the question. And that's exactly what she did. She went in and she was like, you know, an empowered Filipina should be disciplined. That's it. That's the answer. Whatever happens afterward, you know, you already answered the question and the rest is just secondary. I think that she had a very good way of justifying it with the arguments, talking about financial struggles, having to support her siblings as well, striving to kind of evolve as a woman and becoming an international yoga instructor. It was a sensitive answer, it was personal, and there was some emotion attached to it. So all of those elements were there. Of course, we can see that towards the end, it became a little bit of a lengthy answer. So maybe that's the only thing that she should keep in mind when she's answering, you know, in this type of situations. And I also wish that the ending was a little bit stronger. But of course, she was rushed by the time limit. But overall, I'm really happy with her performance. Once again, she never lets me down. We love you, Maria.
Ian from
Paranaque City.
Hello, Ingrid.
Oh,
Hi,
maganda.
Miss Ingrid Santa
Yes.
Maria.
I have a soft spot for Sam.
All right, so your last question for today. What is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic? Again, what is one most important
Think about it,
value
Sam.
that an exceptionally
You're smart, girl. You
empowered
got
Filipina
this.
should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic?
Come on.
I think every exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess the drive and the dedication to pursue her passions, whether that's in a pandemic or outside of the pandemic, having the drive to pursue your passion and having a community to lay back on and friends and family to pick you up when you're down really help you to learn to inspire and empower the communities around you. Whether or not you're having a hard time, if you have that drive, you'll be able to pull yourself out of any hopeless situation.
Right, thank you so much, Ingrid.
I don't know about you guys, but I didn't see this coming. I don't know, like Sam just comes into the room she has such a youthful aura, like very delicate, very soft. But she answered that with so much intensity. Whoa, that was good, man. And once again, I'm gonna give her props for this one because she started, as I said, the answer to the question right in the beginning, just like I like it. She had arguments and ways to justify what she just told us in the beginning, and she sounded so empowered, which that's exactly what the question is all about. She sounded confident, and she also ended very strong. Honestly, this was a home run. I'm getting the chills. Sam, I love you, you know that. And girl, I'm so proud. I feel like a proud mama.
There we have our candidate number 18 from Marikina City.
Justine. Come on, Justine.
Alright.
Are you ready for your question?
I'm so excited. She's so smart. This woman knows how to speak.
Your question is, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic? Again, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic?
An exceptionally empowered woman should be purposeful. Real empowerment comes from the decision of how you will use who you are, what you aspire to be, and what you have been giving to truly serve a purpose greater than yourself.
Yes.
And I think this is very important in times like this, especially for the pandemic, because there is no greater good than wanting to truly impact the lives of others, whether big or small, because empowered women empower women. Thank you.
Whoa!
Thank you very much.
This is only getting better. I always knew that Justine was a really, really good communicator. I actually had her here on the channel for an interview like a long time ago when she was competing for Bini Bini Pilipinas, and I was honestly impressed and even, I will admit, a little bit intimidated because she just had that presence. I agree with her answer, not just with the structure of the answer or with everything that, how she presented her arguments, but I agree with the answer itself. And I really love what she said at the end, like, empowered women empower women. I think that was such a mic drop because it's a play with the words, but at the same time, it contains such a deep, heavy message that if you take a moment to analyze it, it's so empowering. And it's about women supporting other women, which sometimes in society, and especially in the entertainment business, women are often put against each other. So I love this. Oh my God, Justine, I'm an awe, girl. I cannot wait for you to get a title.
Ashley Soberano.
Come on, Ashley. She's coming to kill this talent. I just know that.
Soberano Montenegro.
And looking flawless at it.
Hi.
Alright.
Good afternoon.
Alright, so Ashley, your final question for today is, what is one most important value
Focus.
that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces
Think about it, Ashley. Think about it.
And what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces
Look
a
deep
pandemic?
within yourself.
Well, based on my experiences, I believe that is creativity. Throughout the pandemic, my education and my livelihood were affected. I wasn't sure as what to do to be productive. However, I got creative with what I could do, with how I could make the most of my abilities. With as I opened my 2 small businesses that I'm very proud of. I took an online certificate course in digital marketing, and I think that when we exercise our creative rights, we can find capabilities and opportunities and everywhere in the world around us,
Wow.
despite any calamity.
Wow. Oh my God, you guys. I'm just so happy with all of these answers. I feel like a proud mama right now. I feel like a proud mother. I'm not gonna lie, I was truly impressed by how quick Ashley started answering the question. It honestly, like, the girl is on top of her game. She didn't even take a second to analyze the question. She was like, we should be creative. That's creativity is what we need in 2022 in the middle of the pandemic. Look at me with my 2 businesses, with this and that, with my degrees, my diploma. I think I honestly have a lot of respect for her because I think that she is, of course, a beautiful, beautiful woman, but she's also very, very smart. She has the personality. And also, she never comes up with a pageant patty answer, always with something that is outside of the box that pushes our reflection and makes us think even more about the question that is being asked. Creativity was not necessarily the first thing that would come to mind if I was asked this question, but the way that she presented it and she justified it, flawless. Flawless.
We have candidate number 21 from Albay, Paula Ortega. Hello, good afternoon.
Dale, 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 dale.
Alright. So this is your final question for today.
She's a great
What is
speaker.
one,
I just know she
what is
is.
one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still
Vamos.
faces a pandemic? Again, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina
Think
should
about it.
possess to survive a world that still faces
Analyze
a
it.
pandemic?
I think that every exceptional individual, empowered individual, should be grounded. As I said, kanina, I think what really is pushing me through is to be grounded, to really embrace every moment that I'm taking, to really take a breath every step I take. And every time I feel down, every time I doubt myself, go back to your roots. As for me, I am so thankful that I have my full support from my family and friends, and I always reach out to them to be reminded what I'm doing, what I'm striving for, and then I come back even stronger, making me an exceptionally empowered Filipina. Thank you.
Thank you very
Oh,
much, Paula.
I love that. Come on, Paula. Oh my God. Okay, I will say I love the answer. Okay, like staying grounded is so, so, so important. And it's something that, you know, let's be honest, sometimes certain beauty queens, whenever they get a little bit of popularity, a little bit of fame, they're not as grounded as they were in the beginning. However, I want to say about Paula, this answer in particular, I just know myself, Luis Portelles here from Montreal, Canada. I just know that this is so true for Paula herself because I just had her here on the channel like 2 days ago, actually 1 day ago. Yes, 1 day ago. We had this exact same conversation. Stay grounded, just stay humble. Whenever you are feeling down, whenever things get rough, whenever you are doubting yourself, go back to your family. We actually had even like some footage of her family popping up during the interview because I really wanted to make her feel that support and that love that is out there for her. So I think that Paula not only answered the question, but she also embodied the question in the sense that even her delivery was very humble, was very grounded. And just based on how she has presented herself so far within the competition, I feel like this was just coming straight from her heart. Ah, I loved it. Honestly, I think this is one of the best like head-to-head challenges that I've ever seen in my life.
Alright, now we have our next candidate. Candidate number 22 from San Juan City.
Come on, San Juan.
Hi, good afternoon.
Alright, are you still holding up? Yes. Very good. We're down to our last question for you today. Alright, so your question is, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipino should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic? Again, what is one most important value that an
She was ready to
exceptionally
answer.
empowered Filipino should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic?
One value that we should possess is definitely discipline and work ethic. Being a teacher and being a ballet dancer, I know that hard work and discipline is essential to help the Philippines and to help other communities. I know that everyone has talent, everyone has a unique story to show, but if you have a strong work ethic, if you have talent and hard work, you can do so many things. I hope to be that empowered person so I can empower other people to make their lives better. Thank you.
Thank you very
Oh,
much.
I love that. Very good. And actually, I think that it was very similar to the answer that Maria Gigante gave us. Of course, she was not in the room at that point, so it's impossible for her to copy the answer. But she pushed it even further by talking about work ethic. so important. And I think that especially in these difficult times, being disciplined and having a very strong work ethic is essential for us to be able to overcome a lot of the challenges that have been put in our way. I would like to say, like, San Juan is one of the candidates that I have been noticing a lot lately. I know that in the beginning I did overlook her a little bit, but not anymore. I think that she is one of the strong ones. My only feedback would be to give us a little bit more energy and confidence speech whenever you're delivering a public speech, especially within the context of the head-to-head challenge. This is so important because this is where you get to prove not only your communication skills, intelligence, but also you get to show a lot of your intelligence, how rational you are, and also even a little bit of leadership in a way. So that will be my only feedback to her, but when it comes to the answer, I'm super satisfied.
All right, so we have our next candidate.
Who else?
Candidate number 23. I'm sorry.
From Taguig City,
Taguig.
Esparago. Hi.
Looking beautiful, the
I see a
gig.
change of
I
outfit
see
right
this
here.
kid about to do.
Justine said, "Are you going to change your outfit? You're going to sew one in the bathroom." So I did.
Oh wow, you just saw that in the bathroom.
So if there aren't any curtains.
She has a sense of humor. I like that.
Have you here. Now your final question for today is, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic? Again, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic?
Empathy. In the pandemic, we have seen the most marginalized communities emphasized with a lack of resources, a lack of goods. And when we look at our situation, I was fortunate enough to have an environment where I could do online classes. But there are students out there that didn't have that opportunity. I struggle even to this day to have laptops, to have Wi-Fi. And that's why I really stand with my advocacy for providing extracurricular resources and learning materials to children. Because I know that when we grow up in a situation where our circumstances are out of our control, the thing that we need the most is someone there to hold out their hand, to say, I understand where you're coming from, and I refuse to let you go through this alone.
You know what? I just love the answer because you can just feel the honesty and the heart of the answer. Like it was just coming from a very genuine place, and you can tell. Sometimes some candidates just come out and they just go out with a very powerful, impactful statement, but they lack that connection with the answer. And I think that the way that she addressed this question was just perfect. Starting by the fact that she's talking about empathy, which in my opinion is one of the most obvious answers to the question, but she went ahead not only to justify it perfectly by talking about some of the privilege that a lot of us have, in this time of pandemic, even the opportunity to go to school online, to have access to a laptop, to have access to the internet, and which is something that a lot of people don't have, and that a lot of people, unfortunately, because of that, they haven't been able to pursue their education and have access to equal opportunities. And the fact that she delivered that entire speech with a lot of empathy, that was really, just the perfect ending for me. I just love this. Taguig, I'm a fan. I need to watch out for you, Taguig. Yes.
All right, we have our next candidate from Las Piñas City, Miss Allison Black. Please join us here in the middle.
Come on.
All right. Are you ready for your final question for today?
Ready as I will ever be.
All right. You don't know twice. All right. So your final question is, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic?
Come on, Las Piñas.
Again,
Don't let me down
what is
now.
one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic?
I believe to be exceptionally empowered, you have to be vulnerable. In a pandemic, we compare ourselves with other people and their successes. And when you're vulnerable, you show other people that it's okay to be perfect. And I carry this as a beauty queen, I don't want to be a model for people. I don't want them to copy my life story. I want them to discover their own power. I want to be a microphone for them to amplify their voices.
Oh.
And when you're vulnerable, you show other
She understood
people
the
that
assignment.
imperfections make them stronger.
Mm.
It makes them human. And it makes them empowered. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Thank you very much,
Las
Allison.
piñas. That was impressive. I actually think that this answer really complements the previous answer from the gig. So I'm gonna say that I'm really satisfied, really happy with her performance. I think that being vulnerable is, I would say, like one of the hardest things to do, especially when you have a public platform, because everyone is scared of the criticism or people pointing fingers at you. And of course, when you have a platform or you're an influencer or you are a beauty queen or whatever, people think that you have this perfect life and you don't have problems. But the reality is that you're human, just like anyone else. You have families, you have a job, you have issues, you have, mental health problems as well. So I think that being vulnerable is just putting the right message out there, that although your role models might do things that inspire you in life, they also go through the same hardships.
Candidate number 25, Gwendolyn Fernol. Hi, good afternoon, Gwen.
Good afternoon. Still looking fresh. I love it. It's been a long day, but a very long day. Here you are. All right. So your final question is, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic? Again, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces the pandemic?
I think a really important value is to be grateful, especially throughout the pandemic. We forget
They all keep coming up with
values
different
and
answers.
What we have. We tend to look at things we need and want, and we forget family values. And it's very important that we focus on that to build a community with love and prosperity, to focus on an environment that is thriving around our family, especially during the pandemic, which has improved right now, especially thanks to our government and thanks to us working together. So gratefulness and being surrounded by positivity and love will make us thrive together in our environment and make the world a better place.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful perspective, to be grateful during very difficult times, to just look at the bright side of the things that we actually should be grateful for. It's a very good way of looking at life, because of course, life is hard, man. There's always going to be things that don't go our way or don't make us happy or that might be an inconvenience, but just focusing on the good, on the bright. I like that. Negros Occidental. She gave me a good impression. I'm happy.
So let's have our next candidate number 27.
From Iloilo City, hello, Blessy Villa Blanca. Good afternoon.
I love her dress.
Nervous, but still, good afternoon.
Relatable. She's nervous.
Yes, your birthday is almost done, but I hope you end it well, end it strong. Yes, for your
And it's with a
holiday.
bang.
Yes, with a bang, definitely. All right, Blessing. So your question is, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipino should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic?
Oh.
Again, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipino should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic?
Come on.
Even without the pandemic, I always have this trait of resiliency in me. Because I grew up
Interesting.
in a family where it's not complete, and my dad is a construction worker. We struggled in life, and I developed resiliency because of that. At the age of 13, I worked as a helper so that I can provide food in our family's table. And up until then, I stopped my dad from working, and then I am providing in our house for about 3 years. So even with or without the pandemic, we must have that trait as a resilient, exceptionally empowered Filipina. Because if you're resilient, regardless of troubles that you will experience in your life, you will get through it because you are strong and you always have a way to get out of anything. As long as you are that kind of person, you're not just helping yourself, but you're helping the community as well. Thank you.
Wow. Okay.
Very much.
This was a very interesting answer. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, first of all, I do agree that resilience, it's definitely something that we should have, not only during the pandemic, but just in life as a whole. But I think this is very interesting. Her background, I'm wondering, like, what is it that she defines as an incomplete family? Like, is it that the parents are divorced? Is it like one of the parents passed away? One of the parents was just never there? What's like the background? I'm interested. I also think that her message about, after being able to work and sustain herself, she decided to provide for her father as well. That's also something that sometimes is not well seen by society, like thinking that women should stay at home or women should, go to school and do this and that. But sometimes you have empowered women who necessarily decide to open paths for themselves, to open doors. And in the process, they decide to also take care of their parents, of those who supported them initially, so that they can make it to the place where they are in life right now. So I enjoyed her answer. I think it was really outside of the box and outside of what I was expecting. Although her answer element, being resilient, it's of course a very strong one and a very obvious one. But all of the arguments that came after were really unspotted, out of the box for me.
All right. We have here candidate number 30 from Baliwag, Bulacan, Miss Angela Teng. Hello, good afternoon.
Come on, Baliwag.
Good afternoon. How are you feeling?
I'm good, nervous, excited, but mostly grateful to be here. And thank you for staying so long. I know it's a long day, so I really appreciate you being here.
Yes, of course. Our viewers also are staying tuned with us. All right. So, Angela, your final question for today is, what is the one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic? Again, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipina should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic?
Empathy is key, and it's something that I've always instilled in myself, in my friends, in my family, and in every talk I've done, every stage I've stood on, not just as a beauty queen, but also as a data scientist, a Bolakenya, and as an academic. I think it's important to be empathetic because we need to know what people are going through, what different struggles people have, and we need to contextualize the situation people are in. And because of that, we can truly create solutions that are for the world, and not just for a single subset of society, not just for a single person, but for every person here. And we can ensure that when we empathize with others, we also create solutions that include the most vulnerable communities, that we can collectively reach out to others who might not have,
I like this.
and give them the voice that they deserve.
Yeah.
Give them amplify their voices and also give them the chance that they deserve to be heard. And that's what I hope to be, and that's what I aim to do here on the stage of Miss World. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity, and I'll keep doing that to all of you. Thank you.
Amazing. You know what? I'm actually gonna say, I think this is the first time so far that a candidate answers with an element that was already said by a previous candidate. Of course, she wasn't there in the room when the previous answer was provided, so of course she has no way of knowing that. But I think that maybe for the viewers, it takes away a little bit from the surprise factor. Although I will say that her communication is really, really good. It's really clear as well. Like the way that she presents her ideas is very rational, very structured. It just makes sense. So I have to really give her props for that. And I couldn't agree more with everything that she said. So there's not much to criticize. The only thing is that since someone else also addressed the question with the same argument, it just takes away a little bit from the surprise factor. But that's not something that we can put on her. It's really,
The last but not the least candidate.
And she's making her way on stage.
She didn't make us wait any longer.
Come on, Aklan.
Candidate number 34, Beatrice Aklan from Aklan. Again, thank you for having us in Boracay.
All right, Bea, so we're down to your last question for today. Your question is, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipino should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic? Again, what is one most important value that an exceptionally empowered Filipino should possess to survive a world that still faces a pandemic?
You have to be illuminating, meaning when you enter a room, you know how to relate to people and how to draw people towards you. And with that is an advantage for me, like myself, as an exceptional, empowered Filipina,
I can draw people to me and hear my advocacy and create awareness for the people who are struggling in this world. Just like what I advocate for, just like cervical cancer awareness, I know with my illuminating quality, I know that I can draw people. I can let people hear me and listen to me, and we can make a better change for the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Wow. That was awesome. That was really, really good, really strong as well. And I was never in 1,000 years, I would have imagined this particular answer, illuminating. You have to be illuminating to draw people towards you. Damn, that's so deep. Okay, Aklan definitely ended this really, really strong. I think that, you know, when I look at the entire batch of girls, it really started very, very strong since the beginning. And then it kind of plateaued a little bit in the sense that the candidates were good, but I was not getting like that wow factor that I got in the very beginning. But Aklan definitely was able to bring it back to that same level. Her communications, flawless, her confidence, it really, really shows. And just how illuminated she is, it really grabs the attention. I think that what she said is really true to herself. It does apply because honestly, I'm in awe. I cannot take my eyes away from her. So props to you, Aklan. Alright everyone, there you go. So that was my reaction to the second segment of the head-to-head challenge of Miss World Philippines 2022. Please let me know in the comment section what do you think about my comments and feedback to each one of the candidates. I know that this is very hard because the ladies are just exceptional, and I really want to emphasize that the fact that we have such, you know, high caliber women competing this year. If you did find some sort of value in this video, don't forget to leave a like so that it gets recommended to more people, and please subscribe to the channel so that you get notified whenever I upload new videos, which I do almost every single day. Last but not least, as usual, come here and give me a hug. That's a little tradition on the channel. You know that I love you, that I appreciate you. Thank you for coming and spending a few moments out of your day here with me. And until I see you next time, please stay safe, be kind to one another, sending you all my love, all my kisses, and I'll see you on the next one.